and welcome to another installment of Johnny Consciousness. I'm John Moore, your host. Today is December 6th, 2024. Christmas is right around the corner, as well as many other holidays. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays to you all. I'm sipping on some hot chocolate. I hope wherever you are, grab some hot chocolate and pull on up and listen to my encounter. Before I do that, in the last video, I repeatedly said that the encounter in August, where I saw the waterfall of lights in my backyard, I said that was happened in August of 2024. That was a mistake. This all happened in August of 2022, and all the encounters I'm speaking about happened in in 2022. However, first, I have two messages from Spirit that I received during meditation. I recently began just asking Spirit if, they have any, I should say they, I almost said he, you heard it, but they, Spirit, God, I don't believe as a gender, so I call Spirit they. So at any rate, I asked them if they had a message for my YouTube viewers. This was on the 4th, and I don't hear this message. I get more like a knowing. It's like an inspirational idea comes to you, similar to that. So this is what I received. Time is shorter than you think. Make amends now. Period. End of message. I got this distinct impression the Spirit wasn't talking about make amends with Spirit, but no, make amends with your fellow human, who perhaps you've estranged or they estranged you, whatever the case may be. Reach out and make amends. And I just postulate that perhaps by making amends, this is, whether it works or not, this is a way of allowing our light to shine into the darkness of that relationship. And whether that person receives that and then, decides to engage and forgive, whether or not that happens, you've put light into the world, and that makes the world a better place, whether you know it or not. I'm convinced of that. I also received a second message yesterday. It was a bit dark. I will admit it is dark. It is concerning, and I even hesitated to bring it up today, but I was taught to give whatever the Spirit gives you. So I'm just going to give you as I was given to me. There will be political unrest in our country, physical altercations on the street. Even in Congress, there will be physical altercations. I asked Spirit, well, how long will this type of behavior go on? And I got the impression that perhaps as early as September, I know that's a long way from now, or as late as October, so it's even further away, if it really indeed starts this month. So that's the impression I got. And I just hope things don't get real bad. So just do whatever you can to turn the volume down. I'm not saying appeasement or give in to the other person. I know I'm talking about politics. That's what's going on in our country now. We're divided right down because of our politics. So if you can find any way just to turn the volume down and try to avoid any physical altercations if you can at all. I don't want anyone getting hurt. I don't think Spirit wants anyone getting hurt. I think this message is given out of love as a warning, and a cautionary tale. Remember the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And also, Christ said, love your enemies. So if that person's your enemy, treat them with kindness. End of preaching. Well, wait, there's more before we go on to my encounter. At the very end of that meditation, the name Roger Hart came into my mind. That's it, Roger Hart, Hart. I Googled the name and figured it would be like my name, John Moore. Just, I'll get a bunch of random Roger Harts with various, LinkedIn links or whatever. Incredibly, a Professor Roger Hart, an oceanographer, wrote a book basically about consciousness back in 2003 entitled The Phase Lock Code Through Time, Death, and Reality. The Metaphysical Adventures of the Man Who Fell from Everest. I've only read one chapter so far. I'm very intrigued. I'll keep you posted on if anything really unusual pops out of that book. Now on to my main event. What happened on November 15th, 2022. And I'm going to read this very calmly, but it's not a calming situation at all. As you'll see, I'll just read it, and I'll be putting up illustrations as I read. Two illustrations are going to be clearly what I drew. I'm not the best artist. I just tried to draw as accurately as I could. It was very crude, and some of it looks like something a child drew, and I apologize, but hey, not everyone's Da Vinci. And then I also put two illustrations that the AI Gemini created for me. Sorry, I had a technical difficulty there. So let's just get on to the journal entry, which of course got closed. But give me 1 second, please, and I'll find it. This all happened on November 15th of 2022. And I'll begin reading now, and if I pause, it's because I'm trying to make up my own handwriting. Reality, this happened tonight. About 1900 hours. I was in the backyard, and as I arrived at the northwest corner of my house, I saw an incredible sight. Hanging in the sky, what was only what I can describe what the Star of Bethlehem must have looked like. Here is a crude rendition. And there is a crude rendition that I drew at the time. And the drawing you're seeing now is what I drew probably 1 to 5 days later, because it really, really impressed me. Then as I stood there, dumbfounded, and I can't emphasize dumbfounded enough. I'm sure if you took a picture of me, my mouth was probably, just like the one in July, I wasn't trained to be or brought up to expect to ever see anything like that outside of a science fiction movie or cartoon. So I was literally struck dumb. And I was thinking, what is this? And why am I seeing it? Then the star, which by the way was rotating slowly in a counterclockwise direction toward the west, but staying stationary. The star, which I think was a huge craft, began to dim and slowly rotate away from my vantage point. As it did so, it seemed to dim further. The star form began shedding light. And just like the light fall I described in my last video of what happened in August, um, it was very similar to that. The light just started peeling off, and the light shards would fade, and before you knew it, the star was gone. But that was the end of my encounter. So let's just pick off the star form shedding and disappearing, and in its place, a large, dark gray drum shape. Even now, I get the chills, not the good kind. When I recall what I saw, that gray thing hanging up there, it looked not only strange, it looked quite menacing. It just didn't have any lights, no sound. It must have been huge. It was just rotating there for anyone to look up and see. I'm not sure why I could see it. It was dark, but city lights and things like that. I'm not sure if the moon was out that night, but you could see it despite the fact that that there were no lights, and the AI drawing was much better than my crude attempts. And here's what I wrote or drew in the journal. Well, that was my attempt at showing what I saw. And one thing before I go regarding this event, because it did bother me a lot for a long time. In 2023, at some point, I think in the spring, I went to a hypnotherapist because I was having this chronic pain, which I'm not going to go into detail about. So at any rate, I mentioned to the doctor about this experience I had and how it was really bothering me, and I wondered if I remembered everything that had happened, because I had a sense that perhaps something more might have happened. So, long story short, he regressed me, and he had me go back and look at the object. And he told me I could go, I could go up and look at it close and see from every vantage point and remember every detail clearly. And so he said something like, "Go ahead and do that." But when that happened, in my mind's eye, the whole star thing disappeared. I was just surrounded in gray fog. I couldn't see anything. So I don't know if that was my subconscious blocking me or something else blocking me, but for whatever reason, I could not recall any other details than what I can remember as what I wrote down and drew. So that's pretty much it. If you have any comments, especially about what you think this objects were and what was the whole purpose, I'd be very interested in hearing your viewpoints on that. And as always, be kind, be kind, be kind, and then be kind to yourself, and be sure to be kind to others, and always let your light shine. Till next time, I'm Johnny Consciousness.